Hey, my beautiful people, how's it going out there? It is a lovely, what is today? Wednesday. Um, and I'm up, so might as well do a live stream. And I decided to do Gene Kim. And I'm starting to wonder if there's any conspiracy theory this idiot doesn't buy. Um, and he, okay. Oh my goodness. He buys a lot of conspiracy theories. Not sure if he thinks if he buys the 2020 conspiracies, but at any rate, um, he thinks that some that most yeah, most shootings are false flags. Although he is quick to say he doesn't think all of them are false flags. This guy is like unfucking believable. So anyway, yeah. And he kinda believes in UFOs too. He thinks the Georgia Guidestones are from UFOs. Not quite sure how he squares that circle because we know where the Georgia Guidestones come from, but I'll get into that later. And so let me go ahead and share my screen. And let's see if you can see that. And you can. And I'm going to go ahead and mute so it doesn't echo. And we'll see what he has to say about the Georgia Guidestones. And then I'll give you the real skivvy on the Georgia Guidestones. All right, here we go.
Wildest teaching that I'm ever going to give. I have a very, very crazy theory, but it seems to be the most plausible when I look at our current situation, when I look at it scientifically.
He has only one crazy theory. Gene, buddy, hate to tell you this, but you got a lot of crazy theories. And they're not even theories, okay? Don't even throw that word around. Makes me sick when people throw that word around. And you're not looking at anything scientifically, okay? Just putting that out there too. Sorry to tell you, but you're not. All right, moving on.
Historically, but most of all, biblically. And then even if you look at it spiritually, it will make sense. So obviously, a lot of us have heard about the Georgia Guidestones. We're wondering who gave it the explosion. Some people think that it was the Lord who sent.
Okay, so I realize some people may not even know what the Georgia Guidestones are. Um, it's a monument in the United States, and the UFO crowd thinks that the aliens uh, built the Georgia Guidestones. That's not true. We know who built the Georgia Guidestones. Not quite sure who commissioned them. Um, he wanted to remain anonymous for some reason. But we know who built them, you know. So, anyway, having said that, let's go to Wikipedia. And I don't like using Wikipedia as a source, but they have gotten better. But like I said, I don't use Wikipedia very often. Uh, but it's the most comprehensive place I could go to for the Georgia Guidestones. So, the Georgia Guidestones, as in Georgia, USA, not Georgia, the country. The Georgia Guidestones was a granite monument that stood in Elbert County, Georgia, United States from 1980 to 2022. It was 19 feet 3 inches tall, or 5.87 meters tall, and made from 6 granite slabs. The structure was sometimes referred to as an American Stonehenge, even though it really wasn't. The monument's creators believed there was going to be an upcoming social, nuclear, or economic calamity, and they wanted the monument to serve as a guide to humanity and the world which would exist after it. Controversial from its time of construction, it ultimately became the subject of conspiracy theories, which alleged that it was connected to Satanism because, of course, why wouldn't it be? That was a joke, people. I don't believe in Satan. On the morning of July 6, 2022, the Guidestones were heavily damaged in a bombing and were dismantled later that day. In late July, Alberton Mayor Daniel Graves announced plans to rebuild the monument. However, on August 8th, the Alberton City Council voted to donate the remains of the monument to the Alberton Granite Association and return the 5 acres of land on which the monument was erected to its previous owner. In June 1979, a man using the pseudonym Robert C. Christian approached the Alberton Granite Finishing Company on behalf of a small group of loyal Americans and commissioned the structure. Christian explained that the stones would function as a compass, calendar, and clock that would be capable of withstanding catastrophic events. The man reportedly used the synonym as a reference to the Christian religion. No joke. We already figured that one out. Christian said he wanted to build a granite monument that would rival the British Neolithic monument Stonehenge. He drew inspiration from the structure after he paid a visit to it. Joe Findlay of Alberton Granite believed Christian was a nut. Well, at least he wasn't the only one. And he attempted to discourage him by providing a price quote for the commission that was several times higher for any project that the company had ever undertaken, explaining the construction of the Guidestones would require payment. Christian claimed that he represented a group that had been planning to construct the Guidestones for 20 years and wanted to remain anonymous. Christian said he had chosen Elberton County because of its local granite, the rural nature of its landscape, its mild climate, and family ties to the region. The total cost of the project was not revealed, but it was over 100,000 US dollars, equivalent to 400,000 in 2021. Christian delivered a scale model of the Guidestones and 10 pages of specifications. The 5 acres was donated by a farm owner. The owner and his children were given lifetime cattle grazing rights on the Guidestone site. On March 22nd, 1980, the monument was unveiled by Congressman Doug Barnard. Um, so anyway, um, the message or the inscription. All right. A message consisting of a set of 10 guidelines or principles. Gee, I wonder where they got that number from. Was engraved on the Georgia Guidestones in 8 different languages. Dudes, if you're thinking if you're thinking a global calamity, what makes you think that any one of our languages is going to withstand it? Never mind. Um, Moving clockwise over the structure from due north, these languages were English, Spanish, okay, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, Hebrew and Arabic. Why 2 languages from the same region? I'm not even going to go there. Traditional Chinese, uh, which traditional Chinese? There are 2 quote unquote traditional Chinese languages, Mandarin and Cantonese. Um, I can't say for sure, but of the 2 main Chinese languages, I'm gonna say they were written in Mandarin, mainly because that's what the majority of China speaks is Mandarin. But there are other languages that the Chinese people speak. It's not just Mandarin or even Mandarin and Cantonese. Are other languages. All right, traditional Chinese and Russian. Um, okay. I'm not even going to ask. Moving on. The languages were chosen because they represented most of humanity, except for Hebrew, which was chosen because of its connections to Judaism and Christianity. According to the monument sponsors, the inscriptions are meant to guide humanity to conserve nature after a nuclear war, which the creators thought was an imminent threat. The inscriptions dealt with 4 main themes: governance and the establishment of a world government, population and reproduction control, environment and humankind's relationship to nature, and spirituality. Um, And I'm not going to say what the rules are because they're pretty crap. If you want to look them up, they're on Wikipedia. Okay, so the first one was population control. They're like, we don't need millions of people in the world, just so you know. Um, the second one was um, about improving fitness and diversity. Fitness is in the evolutionary definition of fitness. Um, uniting humanity with a new language. Yeah, like that never ever turns out bad in the end. um, yeah. Hello, whoever's here. Um, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Sounds like the UN to me. Or NATO, maybe. Or I don't know. Protect people and nations with um, fair laws and just courts. That's just great. Define fair laws and just courts. Don't you just love going back to 1979? Avoid petty laws. Again, what's a petty law? And useless officials. What's a useless official? Balance personal rights with social duties. Hey, at least we can agree on something. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Okay. Not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. And then again, leave room for nature. Okay. So those are Georgia Guidestones. I guess they decided the Ten Commandments needed a makeover. So, you know, great job. Great job. As if anybody needed me to say I'm being sarcastic. All right, moving on.
Sent lightning from heaven. Other people believe that it was the work of globalists who tried to cover their tracks. So I don't profess to know exactly what happened, but I believe on what's going on with the Georgia Guidestones being blown up, the leadership being changed with Boris Johnson getting out, and then Shinzo Abe, where something happened with him, he got assassinated, and then Japan's in a mess. The Bilderbergers had their meeting, mid-elections coming up. People are really predicting that even our current American government, the seats are going to switch with majority Republicans, and Biden getting out. Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein being cleaned up.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like I said, is there any conspiracy theory this dude does not believe in? And this was recorded about 8 months ago, or at least uploaded 8 months ago. So I'm assuming it was recorded 8 months ago. Uh, and let's see. So by that time, the Republicans already had a majority in the House. Whatever. I'm not even going to try to. I'm not even going to try to get into this dude's head. Let's just go along for the ride. And by the way, I probably lost my monetization on this. So anyone that wants to throw a couple bucks my way, you're welcome to do so on my PayPal account. All right, moving on.
Up. You heard about the recent case of her. Some are now wondering if Prince, was it Andrew or Charles? I forgot. They're wondering if he's going to be next, the one who's going to take over Queen Elizabeth. The Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein being cleaned up. UFOs suddenly being reported out of nowhere. That was crazy. And obviously,
UFOs being reported out of nowhere. I wonder what he means by that. I mean, does he mean like stories of them cropping up out of nowhere? Because that's been happening since the 60s. If he's talking about UFOs just appearing out of nowhere, well, those stories have been happening since the 60s too, so not quite sure what he means by that. Moving on.
so this one, we're going to call it Bill Gates Barf, okay? So we'll call it Billy Barf. So y'all know what I mean when I keep saying Billy Barf. Billy Barf coming out, and it's become a real mess, and a lot of people have been troubled by it, and it's been transitioning to a new variant, and a lot of people are getting concerned where this will head to, and especially when we're going to the next stage of evolution or as a civilization. I think all this crazy stuff, I know how this is all tied together. So all this crazy stuff that we hear, I believe there is one thing, one goal in Satan's mind. It's all tied to one goal. And that's why all this stuff is happening. Now you might go, how are you going to tie it all up? It's going to be tied to Jesuits, Vatican, the Pope as well. How does this all tie together? I think I got one. So this is going to be probably the most mind-blowing thing I'm
Because of course he does. Of course he does. He's got the answers, just like every other fucking false prophet out there. Every fucking pastor has the fucking answer. And it's never the right answer. It's an answer, but it's not the right answer. So let's see what his answer is.
going to teach, or it may not be. It may not be that mind-blowing to you, but I think I can see how this also connects to Genesis 6, population control, why the longevity of humans in Noah's time changed to a lower lifespan, the Temple Mount, why that's so important, Tower of Babel, Jesuits and their Catholic Babylon of Revelation 17:18, how the Antichrist will come into this world, the globalist secret plan behind all of this, but most of all, Lucifer's real agenda for all of this. All of this, I'm tying to one thing. One thing. Now, this is going to be real big, so let's do it one by one. I think where we start out, believe it or not, if all of these human things are going on, remember, if we believe that Satan is the God of this world, and he's in charge of a lot of evil things that are going on with humanity and what the elitists are doing, we
I know you're. Hey, big zebra. I know you're preaching to people who already believe, but come on, dude. You are putting this, whatever you want to call this, stream of consciousness out onto the internet. So don't you think you ought to at least try to make a case for Satan first?
We have to go back. We have to return to Satan, the spiritual power, not a banker, not a Rothschild, and
So Satan's the spiritual power? Huh, I thought that was God. I thought God was the spiritual power, not Satan. Yeah, really big zebra. You calling God a liar, Gene?
not Biden, especially not that guy. He don't know what he's doing. Not some kind of secret globalist behind the scenes who's really behind it. No, we have to see plainly from the Bible. It all comes down to Satan. If there was no Satan, where he doesn't concoct the evil with his spirit behind the globalists, you wouldn't get all these things happening in our world, what you're hearing about. So we have to go back to him, his principalities and his powers, his demonic beings.
Why? Some people just suck. Yeah, it's not a very pleasant thought, is it? But some people just suck. Case in point, the T person. Starts with T, ends in P. 5 letters to his last name. Not gonna say his name. Because I hate that dude. I hate that dude. I hate that dude. I hate that dude. And since I'm an atheist, I'm allowed to hate that dude. Moving on.
That's where you want to hit. If you want to hit there, then we can start knocking out all the other events one by one. What's the event? What's the thing that's closest that the world is seeing that connects to Satan? UFOs. That's it. That's the answer. All right, let's all go home and pray. Now you might go,
Oh my god. Gene, did you watch one of John Pendleton's videos? I mean, seriously. Did you watch one of John Pendleton's videos? Oh my fucking god. No! UFOs are not from Satan. First of all, there's no such thing as Satan. Hey, Jesus fucking Christ. UFOs are not from Satan. How many times do we have to tell you that?
how does this all connect to UFOs, right? But how does this all connect to UFOs? Bear with me one by one, all right? Travel on this journey with me and we'll go. Now, first of all, we have to, and then in the end, we're going to see why it connects to Georgia Guidestones at the end, because that's the topic of this video. Georgia Guidestones tied to UFOs, and it'll connect to all of this together. Let's do it one by one. First of all, we have to understand that there is no doubt the higher-ups out there, they want to try to cover up as much of the UFO phenomenon as much as they can. They don't call it UFO now. I think they call it UAP or something like that, unidentified aerial phenomenon, because they are recognizing the truth with aliens and UFOs, but they don't want to go that far. So then they'll just say it's some kind of abnormality that we see, some kind of weird thing up there in the
Okay, first of all, aliens could exist. I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no. Okay, but aliens are more believable than your God. All right, but I brought this up in the John Pendleton video where he does nothing but bring up UFOs and Satan and all this shit. Don't you think it's funny, as in weird, that the UFO craze did not start until round about the 1960s? Gene, buddy, I know it's hard for you to think, but think. What else happened around the 1960s? What else happened around that decade, Gene? Hmm. The Cold War. Yeah, that's right. And where are a lot of UFOs sighted? Now that's a tough one. Well, a lot of them are sighted um, near Area 51. Now, I know what you're going to say about Area 51. Oh, Area 51 has a lot of, you know, they're doing alien experiments at Area 51. So you etch. I don't know what's happening at Area 51, but it ain't no alien autopsy shit. What's most likely happening is that there are secret aircraft, and they use Area 51 to test the secret aircraft. And nobody knows what these are because they haven't seen them before. Jesus fucking Christ. Hey, Limited. So, I mean, like, you are, like, way off base. And, another thing is, other UFOs are spotted near military bases. Gee, I wonder why that is. You are a fucking moron.
skies, but we can't explain it. So scientists and even the government itself, the top brass, they have to acknowledge that. They have to acknowledge that much. This is from The Hill, the title of their article, Stunned by UFOs, Exasperated Fighter Pilots Get Little Help from Pentagon. Hence, we see they want to cover it up. They don't want it to make it as much of an uproar. You might say, why? Because if every day what you saw on CNN, MS,
Has it ever dawned on you, Gene, that maybe, just maybe, they don't want the UFOs getting out because they don't want our enemies to know what kind of capabilities we have? There are mundane explanations for this shit. You don't have to go looking for conspiracies. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. But yeah, all right, moving on.
NBC and Fox News was UFO, UFO, and not this guy, what do you think the fear of the world will be? It's going to be on this, not on this. So they can't do that. So that's why they'll just, because it's so much exposure, it's plain as day, and I'm going to give the evidences later, they're trying to make it as little as possible so that society.
Evidence, evidence, evidence. How many times do we have to tell you people? Evidence. Not evidences. Evidences is not a word. Moving on.
Don't get into shock mode and get into an uproar. There is no doubt UFOs and even aliens, they are real in the Bible. You might say, why is that? Because there are scriptures about it. At least what you have to recognize is something outside of.
Well, at least I'm glad you say they're real in the Bible because we don't know whether they're real or not. They might be real. Realer than your God. But at any rate, yeah. Um, I don't know. He just, he, it's just, no matter how many times I cover this dude, it just seems like he gets sillier every single fucking time. Anyway, I talked about the Georgia Guidestones. So if you haven't seen that part, you might want to go through that part. Um, it blows my fucking mind that these people exist. It really does. Don't know why. You'd think living in America in 2023, I'd be used to very dumb people by now. Yeah, big zebra. In 2022, Um, it's on Wikipedia. So the Guidestones aren't there anymore. The um, mayor or whoever of Alberton wanted to repair them, but the city council said no. So the land was given back to the original owners, and the granite was given back to the um, originators of the granite. So, yeah. But it's all on Wikipedia. And like I said, I hate using Wikipedia as the source, but that's the most comprehensive source I could find on the subject as of now. Now being April 12th, 2023. So anyway, yeah. Uh so anyway, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Um you can become a member for as low as 99 cents a month. It gets you debunks early and it gets you custom emojis. Um don't forget I have a channel on Odyssey now. So go check that out. It's basically a backup of this channel, just in case YouTube wants to get a bee in its bonnet about something. So, yeah. Um, yeah, whatever. Excuse me. And I am gonna go. You have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you guys later. Bye.